You lie awake in bed during the night, unsure of the time but before daybreak, and it's dark, it's so very dark, and you look into that darkness, unsure why, staring into the abyss, almost as if you know something is lurking, gazing into eyes that just aren't there, eyes that aren't real, that shouldn't exist. Or is that what you make yourself believe? For if you were to confront the truth, it would horrify you to your core, and a small part of you thanks the darkness for staying so dark, whatever it may hide. Anyway, today we will be looking at and ranking different nightmares on a tier list. The tiers will be going from stupid to not scary to valid to kinda scary to horrifying. Now there may be some overlap between stupid and not scary, but most things that are stupid are not scary. But not all things that are not scary are stupid, you know? Same with valid and kinda scary. Something can be a valid nightmare but not necessarily scary, but those that are valid and scary go in kinda scary. Also, I'm going to be sharing some of my old nightmares that I used to have, so you can psychoanalyze me in the comments if you'd like. Our first nightmare will be the fear of losing teeth. You're in a dream and then suddenly one of your teeth feel loose, and you just start spitting out teeth, and then there's blood and spit everywhere, and you feel like you're powerless to stop losing teeth. Yeah, I've had this one a few times and it was pretty horrible every time. I checked online to see what the so-called dream experts believe, and they think that it has something to do with stress, big changes, or fear of the unknown. Which, just wow, you couldn't have cast a larger net, could you? How painfully unspecific and useless. Yes, I think that this pain you're feeling is due to some unresolved trauma from your early life. How's your relationship with your father? No, actually, I think that the pain might be to do with the second degree burns over 90% of my body, but it was a nice attempt. I think that you're quick to burn bridges, am I right? Get out. Yes, I was just leaving. Cutaway gag aside, losing teeth is pretty horrifying, so it's going to go into the horrifying tier. Next, we have drowning, which I only developed because I almost drowned in real life. So there I was, chilling in the swimming pool. I was around 8 at the time and I didn't know how to swim. I would swim in the near deep end, and when the water would get deep, I'd just go on my tiptoes and bounce off the floor to stay above the water. So I was having fun in the nearly deep end when I just started getting pulled further into the deep end, and it wasn't even quick. It was relatively slow, but because I was bouncing on my toes and going up for air, I couldn't stop myself from drifting. This continued until I couldn't sink to the bottom to be able to push myself back up. And at this point, I'm flailing around like a you-know-what and swallowing pool water. It was horrible. This went on for what seemed like minutes as I was slowly running out of oxygen and getting tired. I'm almost at the point of giving up when out of nowhere an unlikely hero comes to save me. It was a bald white man with a hairy chest. He picks me up on his shoulder and then he just swims a lap of the pool. Personally, I think he could have just dropped me to the side, but he decided to swim the lap because he could, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, he saves my life and I had to sit out for the rest of the time that we were swimming. Great man. If he knew I would constantly make bald jokes, would he have saved my life? Maybe not. Anyway, I'm going to put drowning in kinda scary because although it nearly killed me, I feel like my fear of drowning has somehow subsided because I know somewhere out there, a bald man will always be waiting to save me. Funnily enough, balding is one of the nightmares I have here, so I guess I'll rank this one too while we're on the subject. Easily going into horrifying because there's nothing more embarrassing than balding in my opinion. There's having hair, being bald, and then balding. The suspended state between having hair and being bald is worse than being bald in my opinion. Imagine you're in an argument with someone, and then they just say, well, at least I'm not balding. Honestly, it's hard to recover. From personal experience, the only way to salvage the situation is to pull out a gun and shoot the guy. There's no other way that you can come out the victor. But yeah, very horrifying. Shout out to my balding viewers though, you guys are fighting demons that most of us couldn't even imagine. Our next nightmare is the nightmare where your partner cheats on you. Now this is going to be from the perspective of the partner rather than the person having the nightmare, and honestly, I'll put it in the stupid tier. If there was a pain in my arse tier, it would go there, but unfortunately we don't have one. The fact that one morning I can just wake up and the whole day has to be ruined because they had a nightmare is dumb. I get berated for something that I didn't even do. Maybe I'll just cheat next time so that at least it'll be worth the nagging and annoyance. Just kidding, we don't promote that sort of thing on this channel. Carcinogen maxing maybe, but unfaithfulness no. Next we have dying, which is pretty common even though most people believe the urban legend that if you die in your dream, you die in real life. But that doesn't make much sense, to be honest. Let's ask the dream experts what they think. Okay, it says here that it could be due to major life transitions or fear of the unknown. So it's basically just the same shit again. These dream experts really are just hammers, and every dream really is just a nail, eh? How much do these people even make? Up to 105k for dream interpretation. Honestly, I feel as though I could make up some shit that sounds better than most of them. That's why I'm officially starting Stoic Sticks Dream Interpretation, Counseling, and Knowledge Base. Consultation starts at $200 per hour with a minimum session time of 4 hours. New business venture aside, I'll put dying in the valid tier because I feel like most people have a fear of death. Next, we are being paralyzed in a nightmare, which I would assume would be similar to sleep paralysis, only probably a lot worse. In sleep paralysis, you see a creature which usually sits by the foot of your bed. It's often described as being dark and tall, and this happens while you're awake. So imagine that, but being in a dream state where things can get even more creepy. Honestly, the idea of seeing a dark creature slowly move towards you is horrifying. One can only imagine the horrible things it will do to you as you lie there powerless. One can only imagine. Easy kinda scary tier. The next one might sound stupid, but just hear me out, okay? It's about the nightmare of being chased in your dream by someone. Which most of you will be confused as to why I called it dumb, but just keep an open mind, okay? I used to have these types of nightmares where I would be in school being chased, but I wasn't being chased by Freddy Krueger or Jason or anyone. I was being chased by The Undertaker from WWE. He was really fast too, and I was like 9 at the time. He would also do the thing with his eyes where he would roll them back and all you could see was the white of his eyes. And he also had an axe which he would try to hit me with for some reason. I don't think I ever escaped him because he would always catch me and I would always wake up scared and be too scared to go back to sleep, lest he jumps on me from the top rope with a hatchet or something. I couldn't find anything about this online, so anyone who's a dream expert, let me know because this is my second worst nightmare as a kid. And don't worry, we will be going into the number 1 nightmare later on in the video. For me though, easily goes into the horrifying tier, Undertaker or not, being chased is pretty horrifying. Next we have the Bogeyman, which even though I had weird WWE related nightmares about the Undertaker, I didn't actually have any nightmares about the Bogeyman, so I can't really say that this nightmare scares me much. I do get why the idea of the Bogeyman would be scary, even though I can't really describe what the Bogeyman is other than a weird goblin looking thing. This might be more of a British thing, but I remember being told as a kid that the Bogeyman would come to get you or take you in the night, but I didn't really understand what the Bogeyman was, so it didn't really work on me. I'll put it in valid though because I can see why it would be some people's nightmares. This one's going to be a quick one, but I used to be really scared of Pennywise the Clown from the original It movie, especially that scene where he comes up from the shower drain. Looking back on it now though, it may have been more to do with the fact that he looks like a child molester than anything else. Or maybe it was his giant bald head that scared me. That's like a stage 6 Norwood. Really scary stuff. Anyway, Pennywise goes into the kinda scary tier for being kinda scary. The last and my number 1 scariest nightmare that I used to have is... well, it's hard to explain actually, but the nightmare usually begins in a concert hall. And it's completely empty except the entire orchestra is there and they begin to play very quietly. But as the nightmare continues, they pick up in volume more and more to the point where I feel as though I'm being drowned by the noise, and it's just a constant ringing in my head. I can't get it to stop until eventually it gets so loud to the point that it wakes me up. And it does wake me up every time. And every time I tried to go back to sleep after that, I would hear the orchestra play louder and louder in my head to the point where I'd get up and try not to sleep so that I wouldn't think about the orchestra or the sounds. I'm not really sure what to call this type of nightmare, but it was the worst. I had these for years when I was in primary and middle school, and it was not like I was scared of the orchestra or anything. I think it was just the loudness of the sounds. Maybe that says something deep and profound about me, but Most likely it doesn't mean anything if we're being totally honest. Anyway, easily top of horrifying. Let me know if anyone else has also had this type of nightmare, because everyone I've spoken to about this in real life has never had a nightmare like this or anything similar to this. Anyway, that's all we have for today's video. Like and subscribe or you'll have all of these nightmares simultaneously tonight. But other than that, thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.